The product of two factors in the form a times 10 to the nth, where n is an integer and 1 is less than or equal to a, which is less than 10. So what they're saying here is this first number that you see here, for it to be written in scientific notation, must be between 1 and 10. It can be equal to 1, but it has to be less than 10. So it has to be 9 point something or less and 1.0 or more. This number must be between 1.0 and less than 10. And then you multiply it by 10 to some power, 10 to some power. So all of these are examples of scientific notation. This can have as many decimals as you need. This can be positive or negative. You'll notice this guy is a negative number. If this is positive, it represents a large number, and if this is negative, it represents a very small number. Where does it need to be in order for me to have it in scientific notation? Between the 9 and the 8. How many places do I have to move it to get it there?
3.
So I'm going to say 9.85 times 10, and because it started out as a small number, this is going to be to the negative third, So do those really quickly. You moved to the first one 5 places. It was a large number to start out with, so it's a positive 5. The next one you moved 7 places, also a large number, so it was a positive 7. The next one was a small number, so you moved it 5 places, negative 5. And the last one was also a small number. You moved it 9 places, negative 9. You can also go direction. All right? They want us to write these numbers in standard notation. Scientific notation has the times 10 to whatever. Standard notation is the numbers you normally write in to begin with. All right? If it is a positive exponent, then your number should get bigger. All right? So that means you're going to be moving it to the right and making this number larger. If the exponent on your 10 is negative, you're going to make this number smaller. So you want your decimal place to go to the left. All right? So for this one, we have 1.55, and it is to the 6th power. So we're going to move it 6 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you have empty spaces, you fill them in with zeros. All right? And then put your commas accordingly. We know we put them every 3, so we should do something like this. So my final number would look like this, 1,550,000. All right? For this second one, we have a 2, and it is negative 11. So my decimal place for a whole number is just to the right of it. And I'm going to have to move this 11 places here, which means I am going to have 10 zeros to fill in to have 11 decimal places, all right? So I would have to fill in with 10 zeros, right, to be able to write that in standard notation, all right? So go ahead and do those really quickly, 2 positive and 2 negative. So I'll tell you the number one problem I have when I introduce problems like this is I have people who want to distribute. This is not distribution, okay? Distribution has a plus or minus in the center of your binomial, okay? This is straight up multiplication. So you're literally just saying, for this particular one, 7 times 4 times 10 to the 5th, right? Except we just write that there because it's scientific notation. And so when you multiply scientific notation, you only have to multiply the number on the outside to the number on the inside, not your 10. Because you don't need to distribute, it's just multiplication. You don't have to multiply it twice. So you only have to multiply these two numbers because we are going to leave our answer in scientific notation. So what is 7 times 4? What does that give me? 28. Is this number right here in scientific notation? No, it is not. It is too big to be scientific notation. Where does my decimal need to be for that number to be in scientific notation? Between my 2 and 8, which means I need how many more numbers added to my scientific notation? How many places did I move that decimal? I moved it 1. It's a bigger than 10 number, so I need to add that 1 here. So my final answer is going to be 2.8 times 10 to the 6th power. That would be my final answer here, okay? Let's look at the next one. For the next one, I only have to multiply the 0.5 times the 1.2 because I'm leaving it in standard and scientific notation. So what's 5 times 12? Let's just do it that way. 60. And how many decimal places do I have here? 2. So it needs to be 0.60, right? Times 10 to the negative third. Is that in scientific notation? Where does my decimal need to be? Between the 6 and the 0. This was smaller than 1. So I actually need a negative exponent there. I need to subtract one more from there. All right. So my final answer is going to be 6.0 times 10. What is negative 3 minus 1? Negative 4. That's what that's going to look like. Okay. So go ahead and try those two. Page 402, 6A and 6B. 6A and 6B. We are done. When you multiply 2.5 and 6, you're going to get 15.0. That's not in scientific notation. You need to move it over 1. It was bigger than 10, so you added 1 to it. 0.4 and 2 is 0.8, less than 1, so we need to move it over 1 and subtract 1.